She doesn't want the flowers. Not really. She doesn't crave the expensive dinners or the compliments you rehearse in your head. What she's starving for is a moment that feels unscripted, unexpected, an undeniable one that slips past her logic and slides under her skin without needing permission. One move, no money, no lines, just the raw presence of a man who doesn't flinch when the tension hits. And whether she knows it or not, that's the exact moment she decides to give you her heart. Because you don't win a woman with things, you win her with contrast, the contrast between the world she's used to and the world you create in one breath. Every other man plays safe, eager, performative, predictable. He rushes to fill the silence. You lean into it. He reacts. You hold. He seeks permission. You command stillness. That one move. It's not a trick. It's a shift. A gravitational pull into your frame, into a deeper emotional rhythm she didn't know she was aching for. And it starts the moment you don't chase her attention, but capture her nervous system. You don't need to speak first. You don't need to touch first. But you do need to own the space first. And when she steps into that space, into your orbit, her body responds before her thoughts do. It's not lust. It's not logic. It's safety. But not the kind that makes her feel like a little girl being comforted. It's the kind that makes her feel like a woman being claimed without a single word. That's the move. That's the key. A man who doesn't need to perform because his presence is the performance. Most men never touch this power. They mistake effort for magnetism. They overcompensate for emptiness with gifts and gestures, hoping it will distract her from the fact that their center isn't solid. But women feel it. They feel the micro-tightening in your body when you want something from them. They feel when your gaze is too heavy or your laugh is just a second too loud. And when they feel that they retreat, not always physically, but emotionally. And you'll see it in the delayed replies, the dry smiles, the slow ghosting of a woman who once seemed interested until you reached for her a little too eagerly. But when you make that move, the real one, everything changes. It's not something you do to her. It's something you awaken in her. And it doesn't happen when you're trying. It happens when you're watching. Not in a passive way, but in a predatory, grounded, masculine way. Like you're studying the air between you, not just her face. Like you're not analyzing her words. You're tasting her tension. And she feels it. She feels your attunement. She feels the way your stillness starts to shape her movements, like the air gets heavier when you're near. Like her nervous system is suddenly playing in a deeper octave. She doesn't know why she's laughing softer, why she's standing closer, why her eyes keep darting away and then back as if trying to resist and surrender in the same breath. But you know, because that's what your presence does. It disrupts her pattern. And a woman only falls in love when a man can disrupt her emotional pattern without making her feel unsafe. That's what separates you from the rest. Not your charm, not your appearance, but your ability to create emotional contrast, calm where she expects anxiety, tension where she expects safety. The moment you don't mirror her chaos and instead become the mirror that reveals it, she can't stop watching you. And not because you're loud, but because your silence exposes her noise. And that silence, it's seductive. Because it doesn't seek, it invites. And every woman, no matter how guarded, is waiting for a man who doesn't chase her walls, but walks calmly beside them until she opens the door on her own. But here's the truth. Most never accept she won't open to the man who wants her heart. She'll open to the man who knows what to do with it, who isn't afraid of her chaos, who doesn't need her to regulate his emotions, who doesn't seek approval in her smile. Because when a woman feels that, not hears it, not reads it, but feels it, something inside her softens. And that softness is sacred. That's where her obsession begins. In the space between your stillness and her surrender, in the tension you hold without breaking, in the move you don't make that makes her lean in. And it might be subtle. A pause when she expects you to talk. Eye contact that doesn't ask, just is. A silence so full it makes her catch her breath. A hand placed on her lower back with slow, intentional gravity. These aren't gestures, they're psychological locks, and each one opens a deeper part of her. Not because they're clever, but because they're real. Because they come from a man who doesn't need to prove he's valuable. He knows it. And that knowing is the move. She won't say it, but she'll test it. She'll try to distract you with drama. She'll teach him. She'll throw her emotions like bait, hoping to see if you'll flinch, hoping to see if your core was just performance. But if you don't chase, if you don't defend, if you hold, she'll come closer. Not because you controlled her, but because you didn't collapse under her storm. You gave it something to crash against. And that is everything, because every woman wants to lose control, but only in the arms of a man who has it. And that's why this move is free. That's why it can't be bought. You can't fake it. You can't learn it in a YouTube hack. You become it slowly, relentlessly, by owning your own silence, by not filling every emotional gap with noise, by letting discomfort live in the room without rushing to fix it, by being so present that she forgets the world exists outside of you. This is not arrogance. This is not game. This is the quiet confidence of a man who doesn't need to be chosen because he's already chosen himself. And that changes everything because now she's not responding to your tactics. She's responding to your truth. And that truth has a frequency, one that her body understands long before her mind catches up, one that tells her in a way no words ever could. You're safe to be wild here. And when she feels that emotional contradiction, her heart can't stay out of it. Not because you seduced it, but because you made it feel seen. Not as an object, not as a conquest, but as a woman with depth, with shadow, with fear, with fire. And all you did was hold. That's the move. That's the alchemy. Not a line, not a touch, not a gift. Just the space you create and the way you don't need to fill it. And now she's leaning in. Now she's finding reasons to stay. Now her laughter lingers longer. Now her texts come faster. Now she's looking at you like you're the secret she's been trying not to admit she wanted. Because you didn't ask her to give herself. You let her arrive. That's the win. Not a sprint, not a show. Just the slow, grounded seduction of masculine presence, so solid it makes her forget every man who ever begged for her time. She won't know how to explain it. She'll say you have a vibe or that you're different. But what she's really saying is, you didn't fold, you didn't perform, you didn't become smaller to make her feel big. You stood, you watched, you invited, and in that stillness, you became unforgettable. Not because you tried to impress her, but because you were too real to ignore. That's what wins her heart. Not the chase, not the charm, but the undeniable feeling that in a world of noise, she just found silence that makes her feel safe enough to be loud. If this stirred something in you, something you couldn't quite name but you felt, then you already know this isn't just a video. It's a mirror. And if you're ready to go deeper into the psychology of masculine power and emotional influence, this channel was built for you. Subscribe not to follow, but to remember who you are and what you were born to command.